Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the wild world of AI traders. We're talking about algorithms that make decisions in a blink of an eye, actually way faster than that, and are completely changing the game in our financial markets.
So let's just jump right in with the big question. Why is it so incredibly hard to beat the market these days? I mean, if you've ever watched the tickers and just felt completely overwhelmed, like everything's moving at light speed, well, you're not imagining things. So what's really going on?
And here's the answer, plain and simple. Modern markets are they're too fast, way too complex, and they're spitting out an insane amount of data. We're talking about a literal tsunami of information every single second. Stock prices, news headlines, economic reports, even what people are saying on social media. There is no way any human being, or even a whole team of brilliant humans, can possibly keep up. We've basically hit a wall.
So, that brings us to our first big topic, the human limit. Because this isn't just about not being able to read fast enough. Oh no, it goes much deeper than that. It's about how we're wired.
I mean, just think about it, right? You see a stock you own just skyrocketing, and that little voice of greed starts whispering, "Hold on, it's going to the moon." So you hold on too long. Or the market takes a nosedive, and that panic sets in. That gut feeling screams, "Sell, sell now," and you end up selling at the absolute bottom. It's totally human, but those emotions, they are the absolute worst co-pilots when you're trying to make rational decisions with your money.
Okay, but what if you could take all that emotion out of the equation? What if you had a trader that felt zero fear, zero greed, and never ever needed to sleep? Well, that's exactly the idea that sparked the rise of AI traders.
So what are we really talking about here? At its most basic, AI trading is about letting a super smart computer program take the wheel. And look, this isn't your average if this, then that kind of automation. These are systems designed to learn. They sift through mountains of data to find patterns, and then bam, they execute a trade, all before you've even had a chance to blink.
And this chart just lays it all out, crystal clear. Look at the contrast. A human trader, we run on gut feelings, on intuition. The AI, it's all about the data, pure and simple. We get emotional, the AI is completely objective. And when it comes to raw power, well, it's not even a fair fight. The amount of information it can process and the speed of its execution, it's literally superhuman.
So, when you boil it down, the advantages are just massive. You've got mind-blowing speed for both thinking and acting. You get way better accuracy because it can spot patterns we'd miss. You completely take that emotional roller coaster out of the picture. And, maybe best of all, the market never closes for an AI. It's on the job 24/7 all around the globe.
Okay, but all of this sounds a little too good to be true, right? These things don't just appear out of thin air. An AI model is like a high-performance engine. It needs the right kind of fuel. So what exactly goes into it?
It really all boils down to one of the oldest rules in computing: garbage in, garbage out. You feed the AI bad data, data that's messy, incomplete, or biased, and guess what? You're going to get bad trading decisions. It's that simple. So having super high quality, clean, and comprehensive data isn't just important, it's everything. It's the bedrock of the entire system.
And how does the AI actually learn from all this data? Well, there are two main ways. On one hand, you've got supervised learning. This is kind of like teaching a kid with flashcards. You show the AI tons of historical data and say, "See this situation? Here's what happened." You give it the answers so it learns to connect the dots. But then you have unsupervised learning, which is cooler in a way. It's like dumping a giant box of Legos on the floor with no instructions and just saying, "Go figure it out." The AI starts building things on its own, discovering hidden structures and patterns in the data that a human might never ever see.
All right, it's really easy to hear all this and think we're living in a sci-fi movie. So let's pump the brakes for a second and do a little reality check. We've got to separate the myths from what's actually happening.
First up, the big one. Myth number 1. AI trading is a guaranteed, non-stop money-making machine.
The reality? Nope, not even close. An AI is an incredibly powerful tool for playing the odds, but it is not a crystal ball. Markets are chaotic. Things can turn on a dime, and even the smartest algorithm on the planet can get it wrong and lose a ton of money. The risk is very, very real.
And that brings us right to the next big myth: the idea that AI can perfectly predict the future.
Here's the truth. AI is amazing at finding patterns in stuff that's already happened, but it can't predict something it has no data for. It can't see a sudden global crisis coming, or a freak natural disaster, what people call black swan events.
You know, those totally unpredictable moments that just change the entire game board?
This all highlights a huge risk in the AI world called overfitting. The analogy here is perfect. Imagine a student who just memorizes the answers to last year's exam. They know those specific questions perfectly, but when they get to the real exam with new questions, they completely bomb it because they never actually learned the concepts. That's overfitting. The AI learns the past so perfectly that it's totally unprepared for the future.
So, okay, if AI isn't some magic crystal ball, then what's the big deal? Well, its real power isn't about replacing everything we know. It's about making the tools we already use way, way smarter.
Let's take a super classic trading tool, the moving average. Traders have used it for decades. What an AI can do is, first, look at just mountains of past data to figure out the absolute best settings for that tool in 1,000 different scenarios. But here's the really cool part. It doesn't just set it and forget it. The AI can then adjust those settings on the fly, in real time, as the market itself is changing from second to second.
And that is the real secret sauce. It's not some mysterious black box that spits out money. It's a partnership. It's about combining the proven, strategic thinking that humans are good at with the insane speed and data crunching power that only a machine can provide.
Which brings us to one last really big question to think about. As these AI traders get faster and smarter and become more and more woven into the fabric of our global economy, you have to wonder, when a machine is making billions of decisions a day based on patterns that no human can even see, who is really in control?